Hey there and welcome to Plug and Play Blues. This is lesson number 2. In the first lesson, we built out a 12-bar blues structure in a real Texas swinging style. And in this lesson, we're going to take things one step further by introducing the concept of micro licks. And micro licks are these nice little compact 3 and 4 note licks that are super easy to get down, but they add so much to your playing. This is truly an example of where doing a little can add a whole lot. So let's get right down to it. We're going to take a look at a few different micro licks and then we'll plug them into our structure, our 12-bar progression. So let's get started with micro lick number 1. Micro lick number 1 sounds like this. What I'm doing there is starting out on this A note on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, striking the 3rd string open, then hammering onto the 1st fret, and then pulling off in a combination move. And then landing on this 2nd fret of the 4th string to resolve back to E. And this has a real classic blues sound to it because we're really playing with this minor third to major third move, something that's done a lot in blues. And this next micro lick has a classic sound as well. And micro lick number 2 definitely is somewhat of a helper lick. It really needs something else to finish, to pair up with, and we're going to get to that. But first, let's take a look at what we're doing. I'm sliding into the 4th fret on the 3rd string, and then I'm doing that with my middle finger so that I've got my index finger available to put down on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then striking right through the strings, 3, 2, 1. So slide, 2, 1. Micro lick number 3 is about as simple as it gets. And this is a great starting point if you're brand new to blues. What we're doing is pulling off from the 2nd fret of the 3rd string to the open and then down on that E note back at the 2nd fret, 4th string. Super simple lick. Just pulling off, really just have 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. For micro lick number 4, we've got another 3-note lick that's a great building block for other licks, and that is this lick. So what I'm doing there is striking the open 1st string, hitting the 3rd fret on the 2nd string, and bending up with a blues bend, and then striking the 1st string again. Now that blues bend just needs to push this note slightly out of tune. You don't want to bend up a half step or a whole step. You just want to bend almost a quarter, sort of in between the note that's naturally sounded here and the next half step up. And micro lick number 5, it works over the A, and it really kind of gets its structure from this lick. We're just going to do it up a couple of frets. So we're sliding into the 6th fret and then hitting the 5th fret on the 2nd string and then the 1st. And the only difference with this lick really and micro lick number 2 is the frets, really just going up 2 frets, and then the timing. Listen to the timing. I'm waiting an 8th note just to strike this open 1st string. Whereas here, they're in succession. Here I've got a little pause. And micro lick number 6 is pretty interesting because we're going to slide in with this shape. And I'm a finger picker, so I'm just pinching these strings. This is the 5th string and the 3rd string, and I'm on the 5th fret, 5th string, and the 4th fret of the 3rd string, and I'm pinching. Now you can definitely do this with a flat pick. You're just going to want to make sure you mute out the 4th string. Then strike the open 1st string right after you slide in, and then move this back to the 5th string on the 4th fret, and then the 3rd string, 2nd fret. Then strike the open 3rd string, and let's move our hand into this E position and hammer on to the first fret of the third string. At the same moment, you'll want to strike the sixth string. That same moment when you land on the first fret. Then finally, we'll finish out this micro lick with an open first string. Let's take the micro licks that we just learned and start plugging them back into our 12-bar blues rhythm that we learned in lesson number 1. We'll start with the first couple of bars. Alright, so what we have there is definitely tied to the basic rhythm. We're changing just one thing in bar 1. And that's on the and of 3. Instead of going here twice, we're doing it once and hitting the open first string. You can never underestimate the coolness of just an open string ringing over a groove like this. So we want to do that. Come right back to the groove. But then on the and of 3, for the second bar, we're going to start with micro lick number 1. This is where we plug in our first micro lick. And the real challenge of this bar, even if you're already familiar with the rhythm pattern, is going to be having this string ringing without your hand coming down and choking it down too early. You got to keep your hand arched up off of the fretboard in order to accomplish that. For bar 3, we're going to start by hitting the open 6th string and then the open 1st string. And we're going to want that 1st string to ring. So again, keep your fingers up off of the fretboard so that 1st string can ring freely. And that's on the and of 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the rest of that bar is the same as what we learned in lesson 1. But then we move into bar 4, and this is where the micro licks really start to pay off. We're going to do 3 of them back to back to back. So what we did there was micro lick 2 followed by 3 and then a bass and then micro lick 4. And this should be the first real spot where we can stop and see that we just created a lick that's a bar long and super bluesy from 3 of those micro licks. But bar 5 is identical to the A groove that we already learned back in lesson number 1. But bar 6, we're going to play micro lick number 5. But I'm also going to keep my bass going for the entire bar on the quarter note beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. But that leaves the second half of this bar a little empty. So what we're going to do is play just a little simple picking pattern. And that's going to be for the 3 and, it's going to be bass and 2nd string. And then finally for beat 4, we're going to do 4 triplet in that pattern. So 3 and 4 triplet. And that triplet is bass, 3rd string, 2nd string. So let's hear these 2 bars put together. Now bar 7 is played on the E groove. That's the same as lesson 1. But then bar 8, we're going to introduce micro lick number 6. And we'll have to finish out that bar by doing this little walk up on the 3rd fret and 4th fret of the 6th string. So these two bars sound like this. Now for bars 9 and 10, we're going to keep the same idea going from this B and A move that sounded like this. But we're going to change the ending of each bar to do this walk down. When we get to the B, we're going to walk down from the 6th, 5th, and 4th on the 5th string. And we'll do the same thing on the A. But the walk down is going to be on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd frets. So here are these two bars with the walk downs placed at the end of the bars. And that gets us up to the final two bars. Now bar 11 actually sounds identical to lesson 1. So we've got the same basic E groove going here. And then we bring back microlick number 6. And then throw in microlick number 4. So this is another bar, bar 12, where we're putting together a couple of different microlicks to form a more complete thought. So now what we should do is play the entire 12-bar sequence, and I'll play it at a slow tempo so you can really get inside these microlicks and see how we're linking them together and how we're stacking them together as building blocks for longer licks. So here we go. I hope that you really enjoy these example micro licks, and I hope that you can see the impact that they can have on your playing. They're so small but so big at the same time. And now the real trick about them is being able to work in and out of a micro lick, and the rhythm part can be a little difficult. So I highly recommend practicing with a backing track or a metronome, or just fire up the Guitar Pro tab for this lesson and play along. It's very important that you can switch into and out of these micro licks and the rhythm part very fluidly. And you may have noticed that we sprinkled micro licks throughout the progression, but we didn't really do too much to the last two bars. Now, those two bars are typically very special in a blues tune. They're called the turnaround. And we're going to spend some time in the next video really diving in deep to what makes a good turnaround, and you're going to learn a few different turnarounds too that you can pop right into this 12-bar structure that we're building. I think you're really going to enjoy it, and I hope to see you in video number 3.